My name is Shami A, and I am going to have a brief interview with both Kat and Sarah. I have a magic mentor and a board member for past 6 years. And just to say welcome. And if you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourself, let's start with Kat here.
Hi, my name is Kat Dill. I am a fifth year PhD student at UC Santa Cruz. I'm a third time Magic mentor, but this is my first time mentoring at Menlo School and my first time doing an entirely remote mentorship. Um, yeah. What else should I say? Anything specific?
That's good. That's
Okay,
good.
great.
Yeah. Sarah, you want to go?
Hi, my name is Sarah. I'm a freshman at Menlo School, and this is my first time doing a magic mentorship, or honestly, any mentorship, just in general. So it was really fun.
That's cool. All right. I'm going to ask easy questions. They're hard for me because I don't understand all of it, but I'm sure they're pretty easy for you guys. Let's start with you, Kat. And in terms like, if you want to explain, you did mention that this was a remote mentorship and it was hard. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, this mentorship was challenging because Sarah and I were building a physical product. I think it would have been a little more straightforward if we had decided to do like maybe a coding project or something, but we chose to tackle the task of building an actual filter. So that required a lot of communication between us, a lot of sort of, okay, I'm going to ship you this. You're going to do this at your school. I'm going to do this at my house. You're going to ship the pieces to me. Like all these sorts of things. So that added a new level of challenge for us.
Right, right. And all in all, how would you describe your journey?
It was really fun. I haven't worked with a high schooler before in a magic mentorship. My students have previously been in like sixth or seventh grade. So it was really great to work with Sarah. She was just really driven. Just it was fun to work with a student who you could give a task to and she could just sort of run with it. And I feel like we had a lot of really excellent conversations. So it was great, and I learned a lot from Sarah in the process too. So it was really fun working with an older student.
Okay, that's great. Sarah, let's talk. What was the motivation behind this project? Was it mostly coming from you? How did you pick this?
Um, yeah, I think it's mostly coming from my personal interest. Um, I would say I'm not personally that much of a computer person. I do enjoy like more biology themed and like environmental projects. That's why I really enjoyed this project because it kind of took two things I'm interested in, as in like building and designing and architecture and kind of engineering, and then mixed it with something I really care about, which is the environment and the effects of climate change and how we can kind of help that and prevent it in the future too.
Got it. Okay, I'm going to ask not a very smart question now, so humor me for a little while. So, what's a microplastic? When I hear the word microplastic, I in my head the thought that comes is something which is really small. But when I looked at your demo, they were quite big pieces. So that's the reason I'm asking this. What's a microplastic?
Well, a microplastic can be any piece of plastic that's smaller than 5 millimeters in
Mm.
length. So, I do believe that the pieces I had in my experiment were smaller than 5 millimeters because they were like styrofoam balls. But oftentimes they can be much smaller than that, and sometimes maybe bigger. But the ones that are um, in the ocean, they're probably in smaller pieces than what I had. But
Okay,
there's
but
a variety.
they are something that you can see with your naked eyes. Is that
Yeah.
right? Okay. Okay, so they're not like really small that you need a microscope for.
Well, maybe
Could be. They could be.
they could be, but we were testing with ones that we could visibly see and measure.
Got it. Okay. And then going along the same, if you had to expand this filter, would it work for really small pieces as well, or would that require different kinds of filters?
I suspect that layering the filters would be more effective for like the really small filters.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think maybe like the sponge specifically, or maybe like some of the ones we could also experiment with like even smaller hole sizes in the filters. I think the plankton netting and the sponge were pretty effective for this trial because the holes were small enough to like contain most of the microplastics that we had. But if the microplastics were like much smaller, I think that we would have to explore other types of filters.
Got it. So what were some of the challenges that you faced in this project?
I think this wasn't very much like a challenge, but it was a little bit tricky sometimes to work together with Kat. Not like that because we're living far away. I did
Right.
not mean it like that. Because we live kind of, well, 40 minutes is not that far, but like it is kind of a hassle to drive there. But Kat was very nice, and we did have a few times like a socially distanced like craft night where we made the filters, and that was probably one of the highlights of the whole experience. um, yeah, I'd say that was like a little tricky just because I feel bad that she had to drive 40 minutes both ways. um, but other than that, I thought it was really good. Some technical stuff, I guess, like um, the filter would like right before I started testing, one of the wings broke off, so I had to hot glue it, but it wasn't a big deal.
Hmm. And then what were the most fun parts?
Um, Definitely meeting up in my garden, socially distanced, and actually like gluing the pieces together and kind of problem solving, because we had another issue where the frames we printed weren't really fitting that well, so we had to try to cut them. We ended up printing new ones, but it was fun to kind of problem solve.
Nice. Good. So where do you think this takes you next on your STEM journey?
Um, I think I want to explore um, more about marine biology, kind of similar to what Kat's doing. Like she has chosen kind of a focus in baby fish and eels. And I think I want to kind of research some specific marine life, and I kind of want to do more of a deep dive into them.
Oh, that sounds exciting. That sounds exciting. Um, yes, I would agree. Hooray for that. We wish you the very best, Sarah, on your journey, and hopefully you start uh, doing bigger and better things as you move along. And I'm sure that you will be in touch with Kat. Kat, thank you so much for mentoring this session and helping Sarah through it. And wish you both the very best. Thank you so much.